that's committed to delivering results. Farah and Farah.
If you like your pizza loaded with cheese, then have we got a crust for you. Pizza Hut's Ultimate Cheesy Crust Pizza. 16 cheesy pockets overflowing with a 5-cheese blend of melted cheeses. Only from Pizza Hut and only for a limited time. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Sex toy saleswoman Nicole proved Aaron was the dad. They're back. She's found evidence that he's the real cheater.
Just because she cheated don't mean I did.
Backstabbing betrayal on the next moment.
Tomorrow at 4 on CW17.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of 1010XL Tonight, presented by Zaxby's. Frank Frangie, Jeff Prosser. It's December. It's festive.
Well,
are you festive?
I am. I'm always festive.
You are.
I don't know if you know that. Yeah. I
know.
often walk around humming.
You're quite the hummer.
Works for me.
Well,
listen, the Jaguars have won a bunch of games this year.
Yes.
And college football has been so intriguing that for the second week in a row, it's our big thing.
The Big Thing is brought to you by Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
And here's why it's our big thing. For the longest time, Jeff, Georgia watched everybody else win national titles. Everybody around them was winning titles. Well, guess what? The Dogs are in it by virtue of a really impressive victory in this game, beating Auburn in the SEC championship game. They got rolled by Auburn at Auburn in the rematch. It was all Georgia. Man, were they impressive. I thought the play calling was terrific. I thought they played with a passion. Georgia's really good. Jeff, they're getting talked about less than anybody else of the 4 teams. We'll get to the playoff group in a minute. But they were really good against Auburn on Saturday.
Well, and they showed how good they were, facing a team that hammered them pretty good on their home field. They got them on a neutral field, and, man, it was the exact opposite. And, yeah, Georgia is really good for a variety of reasons. But what intrigues me so much about sports and what makes it so fun is you look at that game on Saturday, and Auburn's up 7-0 and driving. And the forced turnover completely changed things. And it was almost the reverse of what happened on the Plains, where Georgia scored first, and that was it. In this case, Auburn scored first. That was it. And give Kirby Smart a heck of a lot of credit, who in just year 2, he's taken that team into the Final Four. And they're good. I agree with you. And, boy, the decision that was just kind of ho-hum, you didn't think about it much last year when the 2 running backs, Sony Michel and Nick Chubb, elected to come back. Who knows the impact long-term on the Georgia program, that decision, because I don't think they're where they are right now without those 2 guys.
And I'll say this, Georgia fans have waited a long time. They have really had to watch a lot of people win national titles. Florida's got 3 of them. FSU's got 3 of them. Miami's got 5 of them. 3, 3, and 5 since Georgia last won one. Alabama's got 4 of them. Auburn's got 1. Clemson's got 2. Georgia Tech's got 1. All these people around Georgia won one while they just sat and watched. Well, you know what? Georgia might get one this year. They wanted Nick Saban light, and they wanted one of their own, and that's what they got in this Kirby Smart guy. He's built it like Saban. He recruits everybody. They play tough-nosed football. They play like an NFL team. They're not a spread team and throwing it all over the place. Georgia's a tough-nosed football team. You're right, Jeff. Chubb and Michelle coming back was a big part of it. But congratulations to Georgia. They are legit. They belong in that playoff. It's 4 really good teams in that thing. Who are they going to be hard?
If you had an argument about what was the highest TV-rated college football game since 2013, that's how many people, since the Iron Bowl that year, that's how many people watched Georgia-Auburn. If there was anything that left you lacking, it was a competitive game. Georgia wins fairly easily. And then there was the ACC championship game, which Miami, I guess, provided the punchline. Clemson absolutely rolled a Miami team that lived on the edge for much of the season. Lost a game late that many feel they shouldn't have lost, and now are in danger of ending the season with 3 straight losses, because in a year where they made great progress, Miami proved Saturday night they're not ready for this stage.
No, you're right about that. And look, Miami probably, and you saw this, what you're watching right now happened all night long. It never changed gears, and everybody felt the way those 2 guys did throughout the course of the night. Look, Miami was never quite as good as their record. They were barely winning games the whole time. They were finding a way to survive. Clemson has way better players, or far more good players than Miami. But Miami found a way to hang around until it ran out of gas. It was a good year for Miami. Don't kid yourself. It was a good year. But Jeff's right. They weren't as good. We saw that they weren't as good as Clemson. I thought Mark Richt did more with that team than he should have been able to do with it, because Clemson had way better guys.
Well, and Miami, you're right. I think that Mark Richt is a year ahead, and I think he was I think he was being forthright when he said that. I don't think he was using it as an excuse. When they got the lumber laid to him by Clemson on Saturday night, Rick just acknowledged that we're probably a little ahead of where we need to be. We need to recruit some better players, build some depth. But if there was one thing that Mark Richt was condemned for ultimately at Georgia, it was not getting over the hump to the biggest of bigs. And in Georgia's case, it would have been a national title, while Frank was just talking about all your other conference rivals are winning. And so, yeah, the progress was made this year at Miami. And it'll help that FSU is going through transition of their own. But the challenge for Mark Richt this go around, can he win a national title, something that eluded him at Georgia?
All right, that leaves us with a playoff field that is really good. I think it's the best field we've had. Look at these games, Jeff. Clemson and Alabama, that's been the title game the last 2 years. It's a semi this year. Oklahoma and Georgia, that's 4 blue bloods. They all have only 1 loss each. They've all played well throughout the course of the season. They're all tough and fast and physical. I love the field. And by the way, I think they got it right. I don't think Ohio State should have been in. Ohio State got blasted by Iowa. Look, it's a beauty contest. The bottom line is this thing is a beauty contest. Until you have what the pro sports all have, a numerical system where if you win a division, you're in. If you don't win a division, you get the wild card based on your record. It's all numerical. Until it becomes numerical in college sports, it's a beauty contest. And Jeff, if it's a beauty contest, you can't get plastered 30 or 55 to whatever by Iowa and you can't get beat by 31 points as long as it's a beauty contest. They got the teams right.
Well, the committee hasn't exactly established it, but I'll go ahead and call it the 30-point rule, and it doomed both Ohio State and USC, which I really thought was kind of laughable they were ever considered. And evidently, if you look at the committee, they really weren't. They finished 8th in the overall rankings. But the 30-point rule is quite simply this. If you're trying to find the best 4 teams in the country, stay away from the ones that lost games by 30 points. I'm sorry. There's a ceiling and there's a basement. That basement is too low. And USC lost by more than 30 to Notre Dame, and Ohio State lost by more than 30 to Iowa. So what an intriguing Clemson-Alabama game we have. Yeah. It's the first time since the early 70s when it was USC-Ohio State that the same teams all meet in a bowl game 3 straight years.
Meanwhile, at Florida State, they're looking for a football coach, and I don't think anyone's surprised. Boy, Jeff, you saw this thing coming. They played the game on Saturday. I think about 12,000 people watched it. They must have gotten in free, I think. The bottom line is, though, that thing was a mess. Jimbo Fisher, I think, tried to handle it the right way. Bottom line is, it was a mess. I think FSU fans, here's the odd thing. As great as he was, he won him a national title. He won 3 ACC titles. He had 10 wins 4 of his first 5 years. I think Noel Nation's kind of glad he's gone. I think they're over it.
It became kind of a fascinating and legitimate question last week at Jimbo's call-in show. Where's the loyalty, Jimbo? And if they hadn't cut him off, he would have said this quite succinctly. Regions Bank. That's where the loyalty is.
Yes, it was.
10 years, $75 million.
So we'll see who winds up being the Florida State coach. Everyone talks about Willie Taggart, at least at this taping. There was no word on that, but I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. As always, we want to know what you think, however. That's when we bring in our friend Donna Murphy, and we do something called Twitter Time. Hey, D. Murphy.
Hello, guys. Happy Monday to you. Now, while you both may agree that the college football playoff was correct, a lot on Twitter did not, so let's go ahead and get right to it. If you do not play in a conference championship game, you shouldn't be in the Final Four. Why is Alabama in over Ohio State, USC, and UCF?
This is the easiest answer in history. Unless they all play in the same conference, you couldn't be more apples and oranges. Right. I mean, you can't compare conferences to conferences. UCF won the All-American Conference or the American Athletic Conference or some AAC that no one really scholars still don't know.
Is it Reigns in that one? Are they, I think?
I'm not sure. They might be. Okay. UCF gave up 50-plus their last 2 games. This is ridiculous. Listen, I understand fans, and I know that there's level of fans, and there are those that follow college football religiously. Leave this one to those guys. You can't compare even major conferences side by side in certain years, and this was one of those years. And USC didn't get in because of the reasons we mentioned. Same deal with Ohio State. And honest to goodness, if we're going to have a conversation about UCF, then I'm going to end it.
Yeah, the bottom line is it's the best 4 teams. Give me the eye test. Everyone says this metric, that metric. You know Alabama's one of the best 4 teams. You'd pick Alabama to beat any of those teams, and that is why Alabama's in it. They belong in it. D-Murph, give us one more.
All right, so then riddle me this. Why is a bad loss worse than not having good wins? Ohio State has great wins and won their conference.
Because a bad loss is gross. A bad loss tells you you're not elite. We want elite teams in this thing. You cannot be an elite team if you get pounded that way. Penn State didn't get in last year. They also won the Big Ten. Ohio State did get in because Penn State lost 49-10 to Michigan. Jeff, that same 30-point rule that you put in, which I'm all in favor of, it kept Penn State out last year. That's never going to change until we have metrics, clear metrics to say why a team should be in.
Am I on a time warp? Are we doing the show in Columbus? Enough with Ohio State. Ohio State lost twice. We've all had gotten into that. They had 2 losses. These 2 teams had bad losses and 2 losses, which, according to my Florida math, is 1 loss more than the 4 teams that got in. Ohio State is not in because they don't belong in. They're not one of the best 4 teams in the country. They're a good team. They're a conference champion. But, yeah, bad losses matter because it shows how bad you are. You're 30 points worse than Iowa. Ugh.
I'm with you. Let's get to pro football. Can we do that?
Yeah, I do. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to an expert rather than 2 slappies like us, Ryan O'Halloran, beat writer for the Florida Times Union, and a man who's got everything from the nuts and bolts to the minutia. And he joins us next on 1010XL tonight.
If you like your pizza loaded with cheese, then have we got a crust for you. Pizza Hut's Ultimate Cheesy Crust Pizza. 16 cheesy pockets overflowing with a 5-cheese blend of melted cheeses. Only from Pizza Hut and only for a limited time. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The Subaru Share the Love event is on at Jack Hanania's Subaru of Orange Park. Drive a new Outback Limited, just $269 a month. Or a new Impreza Premium, just $179 a month. Plus get 2 years complimentary maintenance. Buy today and a $250 donation will be made to one of 5 charities at Jack Hanania's Subaru of Orange Park.
We've got the new Subaru for you.
Men's Closet has the latest styles on summer wear at the best prices in town. Name brands like Stacey Adams, Steve Harvey, Falcone, Kangol, and more. 2 suits for $100. Linen sets $44.99 and up. Sandals $29.99 and up. Polos 2 for $30. Jeans 2 for $50. Men's Closet on Lim Turner across from Walmart and Home Depot. I-295 exit 32. Call Men's Closet 619-2385.
I'm David Robbins with the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. When you or someone you know is arrested, you will go in front of a judge within a matter of hours, and the decisions you make at that time can have a serious and permanent impact on your life. Time is of the essence. That's why we're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help. If you or a loved one is arrested, call Epstein & Robbins immediately. We can be by your side for those crucial moments. Visit FLDUIDefense.com. We're Epstein & Robbins, and we're here to help.
Bill Harrell was devoted to his family and dedicated to hard work.
As we move forward, our family will honor his legacy by working hard every day for yours.
The community has been there for us, and we will always be there for you. Harrell and Harrell.
Welcome back, everyone, to 1010XL tonight, presented by Zaxby's. The Jags are playing well, got off the deck. They always play well after losing a game. Played very well yesterday, obviously, against the Colts. Ryan O'Halloran joins us, the beat writer from the Florida Times Union. How you doing there, buddy?
You know why they call it the beat writer?
Because I'm a beaten guy.
Because they beat you down when you don't write what they want to see. That's why they call it the beat writer.
There you go. Good yesterday, though, right? I mean, you and I talked before the game. Weren't sure how that one was going to go, right?
Yeah, which runs the theme for this season. It's a tough team to predict. You know, it's tough to blow a team out twice in your division, so you figure 27-0. The Colts will all have some juice. They played a little bit better in the last month or so. Indianapolis was terrible, and it was matched by the Jaguars being efficient in all phases. I thought that fake punt came at a good time, sort of to tell the roster, hey, you know, let's get a lead and then rely on the defense. And, you know, they went 16-3, 24-10, 27-10, so I thought it was a good all-around win.
You know, the Blake Bortles supporters / apologists every week after Blake plays a bad game will say, this receiver dropped that, and this receiver missed that, and this receiver, well, yesterday almost kind of gave you a sense of at least what they're talking about. I thought the receivers had their best game. They caught just about everything, and lo and behold, you know, Blake's got 118 passer rating, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you combine with him going to the right spots with the football, the receivers making some dynamic catches, which they haven't done this year, making some touchdown catches. I think there was some soul-searching conversations behind closed doors last week because from the receiver standpoint, last week against Arizona was unacceptable, and it was a trend. Is being a rookie doesn't count in December in the NFL, even if you're D.D. Westbrook and just started playing. So I like what Nate Hackett did is going against a 30th ranked pass defense. He came in and said, hey, let's get Blake Bortles in a rhythm. Let's get D.D. Westbrook, Marquise Lee, Keelan Gold feeling good about themselves because you're going to need them the rest of the season.
So, Ryan, let's look forward now. This is a game everyone's watching. It's got flexed to the afternoon. Everybody knows that Seattle is one of the premier teams, certainly one of the premier defenses. The NFC seems to be better than the AFC in these matchups. This is a big game. I hope people go to the game. It's a big deal. How will they respond? Will it be too big for them? Is it the game they've been waiting on? I mean, this is a different setting than they've been playing in.
Yeah, I think Doug Marrone's challenge this week is don't get too keyed up because these players in this locker room are going to look at Seattle and say, this is a measuring stick. They've been champions. This team wants to be champions. This team wants to have an elite defense like the 2013 Seahawks. But don't run out of gas by halftime because you're running around the field trying to make plays you're not supposed to make. So I think that's the challenge for this coaching staff is, and Doug Marrone sort of talked about it after the game on Sunday, is play within yourself and have fun because he feels maybe guys are running out of position on offense and defense, and it's costing them.
I tell you one thing I do like for the Jaguars in this matchup. Look, I think Jalen Ramsey can shut down Doug Baldwin. Mm-hmm. And I really question Seattle. They can't run the ball worth anything. And so if you're left really with Russell Wilson's scrambling ability, and look, that sometimes can be enough, but this is a measure. This is the kind of football you're going to play in January in the playoffs.
Yeah, and if I'm Todd Wash, my plan, the baseline for my plan is simple. I'm going to rush 3, drop 8, play zone. I don't want Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye with their back to Russell Wilson because that's how he gets yards, converts third downs with legs. Their pass protection breaks down so quickly. It's almost like he's expected to scramble on every play because it's him and everybody else. So I think it's going to be a great test for this Jaguar defense. Can you play discipline? Can your pass rushers stay in their lanes, which they didn't do against Blaine Gabbert last week in Arizona. So, I think this Jaguar defense can contain Seattle, but can this Jaguar offense have another good game against a Seahawks defense that looked pretty good?
Final thing, 20 seconds here. As this season ends, there's 4 games to play, 2 ones that look like they're going to be tough because you got to go to Tennessee as well. San Francisco's playing better, but you should win that, and I think they're going to beat Houston. 2-2 gets them in, but maybe doesn't win the division. How do you see this thing ending?
Yeah, you're at 2-2. You're definitely in. I think just because you look at the math behind them, they own the AFC record. They hold tiebreakers. The goal should be don't go to Nashville having to win to get in. Right. Win the play. Have to win to play the division.
All right, Ryan O'Halloran, great work. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, fellas.
Well, it doesn't take long till you just expect to win, does it?
That's right.
After all these years, right? We shall see. Rhino, appreciate it. Always a great job. I'll tell you what else is a great job, and a huge attaboy to the local high school football scene. I mean, week after week, these jokers don't hardly lose, and we're still alive, and we've got teams playing for titles this weekend. We'll set the schedule for you when 1010XL tonight returns.
I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what you've been told. Where the best gear is sold. Where the best gear is sold. Tactical gear working more. Your Army, Navy outdoor store. Army, Navy, Army, Navy, outdoor.
Get all you need at Army Navy Outdoors. We're your tactical work and outdoor store. We carry a complete line of clothing and gear so you can have fun or work in comfort.
Army, Navy, outdoors. Sawyer Gas.
I'm Barry Rainey, General Manager for Sawyer Gas. On behalf of all our employees, I want to thank our valued customers for their business. Here at Sawyer Gas, serving our customers in a safe and responsible manner is our top priority. We're proud to be a part of the local community and participate in the many activities that support local charities and organizations that improve the neighborhoods where we work, live, and play.
Sawyer Gas, driving every day with Sawyer Gas.
Before you sell your home, know the math. A $200,000 home, traditionally at a 6% commission, costs you $12,000. With First Coast Realty of Jacksonville, that same house with full service is listed for a flat fee of $575 plus 1% commission, which leaves a whole lot of savings for you. Full listing service for less. First Coast Realty of Jacksonville.
If you like your pizza loaded with cheese, then have we got a crust for you. Pizza Hut's Ultimate Cheesy Crust Pizza. 16 cheesy pockets overflowing with a 5-cheese blend of melted cheeses. Only from Pizza Hut and only for a limited time. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
When it comes to tough, versatile workhorses, nothing compares to Kubota's full line of RTV Series utility vehicles. Engineered to last and designed to deliver, Kubota's RTV X Series doesn't just lead the way on rugged dependability, it leads the pack. From big jobs to small projects and daily chores. Choose from America's top-selling family of diesel utility vehicles to help you do it all.
Visit McClenny Equipment and Tractor or click metractor.com.
Only one team gets this wild. Act surprised when they announced team captain. I was thinking about going Will Smith, like. And that's before they even take the field. Get in the game.
And see. Weeknights at 5 on CW17.
We say this a lot on the program. I'm sure they play, in fact, I know they play great high school football in the Miami area and other areas in the South and in Florida. But my goodness, are they doing a good job here. 4 teams from the area, 4 are going to play for state titles this coming weekend. I'm excited about that, Jeff. Bartram Trail, let's start with them. What a nice team Daryl Sutherland's put together.
Well, Coach Sutherland has, he's got a bunch. He's got like a fuchsia dress and a beach dress and a baby blue. A lot of bridesmaid dresses over there. Right. And finally going to walk down the aisle, right? And good for Bartram and those two-headed quarterback system. By the way, my spies tell me perhaps Dan Mullen and the Gator staff may have paid a visit to Mr. Gatewood here recently. And, they kind of changed systems down there. But this is about Bartram, and an easy win has gotten them into a title game. And North Florida public schools have had a devil of a time winning state titles. St. Augustine's done it. We'll see if Bartram can join.
Yeah, congratulations to Bartram. And I'll give Daryl credit. He told me before the season that whole story about getting Gatewood and Smith to both stay and to play together, and he has pulled it off. So congratulations to him and to that Bartram team. Another team people haven't talked about a lot is Baker County. We didn't know a lot about them. They haven't gotten as much attention. But boy, the Wildcats have a good team. You talk about a tough-nosed athletic team. They earned their way in as well, Jeff.
Yeah, Baker County, for all of us that didn't grow up in Jacksonville, we've always kind of missed that small-town feel about your high school. Yeah. I mean, so many of us grew up in other, where your city team. Baker County always harkens me back to that, right? When you go out to Baker County, that's what it is on that Friday night. So congrats to the Cats, who also will be playing for a state title. And, if Baker County has won a state title before, it was long before I arrived in Jacksonville in the early 90s. So you hope to take advantage of these shots. I can remember so many times talking to high school coaches, no matter the sport, you have to guard against your team being satisfied making it.
Yeah, that's right.
Either to a Final Four or a state championship, and take advantage of the opportunity to actually go win one.
So 4 teams now are going to play in this thing from Jacksonville. University Christian represents the private sector here in town.
They've won a couple 3 in a row already.
Yes, they have. Reigns, the only team that's ever won a public championship that's in Duval County.
And Coco's a beast.
And yes, they are. Every year they are. Baker County represents that county, and Bartram Trail represents St. John's. That is very cool. 3 counties, public, private, they're all playing, and I'm really excited about that. Congratulations to the great, great high school football that is played around here. All right, almost out of time, but we still want more of your questions. We'll take a break now, come back with a little more Twitter time to wrap the program, so come on back.
This one's for Grandpa. And so are these. Merry Christmas, Dad.
Let's go fishing. This Christmas, for all for less means more.
Lil Detroit.
Garber Auto Mall.
Lil Detroit.
Garber Auto Mall.
Either way you know or remember it, it relates to low prices, huge selections, and treating you like family. Located in the ever-growing city of Green Cove Springs, we are proud to be a part of over 3 decades of history, serving thousands of area residents. Take the short drive or visit us online at GarberAutomall.com, but don't pay big city prices anymore.
Lil Detroit.
Garber Auto Mall.
Lil Detroit.
Garber Auto Mall.
Get your hands on Star Wars: The Last Jedi Cosmic Shells exclusively at Winn-Dixie. Run to your local store to get these Star Wars collectibles now. It's the only place in America where you can get a bonus pack of Star Wars Cosmic Shell collectibles when you buy any 5 participating products. Winn-Dixie, may the Force be with you.
I'm David Robbins with the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. When you or someone you know is arrested, you will go in front of a judge within a matter of hours, and the decisions you make at that time can have a serious and permanent impact on your life. Time is of the essence, That's why we're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help. If you or a loved one is arrested, call Epstein & Robbins immediately. We can be by your side for those crucial moments. Visit FLDUIDefense.com. We're Epstein & Robbins, and we're here to help.
Giving season is in full swing. Make every moment count. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Merry Christmas to all, and for all, a good price.
There's something you should see.
It's here, the end of days. And in its wake, many cowards and killers and vile men will burn. And they will call it World Killer.
Mom?
And her rise will come at the fall of the righteous. And she will reign.
Take your best shot.
Supergirl, mid-season finale tonight, 8/7 Central on the CW.
Welcome back to 1010XL tonight. It is that time again, and that would be Twitter time. The experts are here, ready to answer your questions. That would be Frank Frangie and Jeff Prosser. All you have to do to get your questions answered, use that hashtag #AskFrankAndJeff. So let's get started. How about we talk about some Jags? Haven't mentioned them yet with the Twitter folks. How many no gain or negative yards for 27? That would be Leonard Fournette. The last few weeks, is his ankle worse than they say?
You know what, Donna, I think it is, Jeff. I don't know. It looked either he's hit the wall or maybe it's the ankle, and he's still a darn good running back. But the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, he would get hit at the line of scrimmage. You'd think no gain, it'd be a 4-yard gain. He'd have a little bit of a hole, and he would turn it into a 12-yard gain. That burst, that explosiveness, you saw it early in the game yesterday, but he might have tweaked the ankle pretty early because he didn't look like that second quarter on.
Well, listen, I will say this. One of the, whether it's a cliche or a reality, but cohesion and chemistry on the offensive line is shouted from the mountaintops, from whether it's Tony Boselli or a coach. And the bottom line is this Jaguars offensive line hadn't used the same combination now in about 7 weeks. Whether it's Linder out for a week or two, or we've had Parnell, we've had Omame. There's been a lot of shuffling along that offensive line. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that Leonard has kind of hit a little wall, that he is bothered a little bit by ankle. But more importantly, the offensive line, I would bet you, is not playing as well as it did earlier this season as well. So hopefully they'll get that straightened out and then go to the postseason playing defense and running the football, because that's an awfully nice formula.
Donna, keep them coming.
Yeah, next up, is Taggart going to be the next FSU coach? Any possibility it could be James Franklin?
Yeah, I don't think Franklin. Yes, I think Taggart's going to take the job. He was only at Oregon 1 year, Jeff, but I think he wants the job. This is his dream job. I'm told he's going back and forth, doesn't want to leave Oregon after 1 year, but he grew up an FSU fan. Your dream job doesn't come around very often. I think he's going to take it.
And very rarely does this happen. It's going to be very interesting now from this starting point to track the progress of Florida and Florida State. Gators had their first shot at a head coach. Evidently, they elected to go Dan Mullen, which means whoever FSU takes, Florida had first dibs on. So be interested to track these two moving forward.
Yeah, well, it really will be. I do think Taggart's going to wind up being the coach at Florida State. Folks, that is our program. Thanks for being part of it. A lot of fun. Fun times down at the bank. You ought to be going to the game. I'm looking forward. I'm excited about this game this week.
I'm going to go next Sunday, and I'll tell you what I'm going to be. I'm going to be very festive.
Are you?
Yes.
You are a festive
Correct.
guy in December. That's our program. We'll see you next week on 1010XL tonight.
Good night.
At Pollo Tropical, our grill is heating up with our Tropi-Chop Bowl Combo for just $4.99. Customize it your way with citrus-marinated flame-grilled chicken or roast pork over rice, beans, or veggies. $4.99 with drink for a limited time. Pollo Tropical, better than ever.
You're driving along and then it happens. You get hurt in a car accident.
Call Rubenstein Law. A client of theirs hurt their neck, and Rubenstein Law got them $200,000. Now that's a lot of money.